I let the bow dry last night, so here it is, all finished up. See? It's a really simple paint job. I've been doing this recently just to sort of get the bows finished, covered, and ready to go. Here it is. Now what we're going to do to sort of finish up the youth bow is add an arrow rest on it. This is just a really simple arrow shelf. It's kind of like the tab arrow rest I showed you guys how to do before, except instead of completely flattening it, we're going to leave a bit of a curve on it, and that will just help reduce the amount of contact between the arrow and the rest. It's just something else you can do. You can do a tab style rest, you can do any sort of rest you want on this bow. You don't even need to use a rest at all. So let's go do that. Alright, to make our rest, what we're going to be using is the 3/4 inch pipe that we used to make this bow. What you want to do is take your pipe and mark the end with an X. We're going to be breaking this into quarters. What you want to do is you want to go ahead and cut this down about 2 inches. You're going to end up with a piece or 4 pieces that look like this. So you've got 4 rests you can make. What we're doing for this one is you want to mark in about 1/2 inch, and then from 1/2 inch down to the end you want to make a point, sort of like a triangle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut along this, and then I'm also going to flatten this out and sort of thin this bottom area, because this area is going to go against the bow, and you want it to be fairly thin so that this piece will heat this and bend it out. So I'm going to go cut this and I'll show you what that looks like. Alright, so here's the rest cut out. Went ahead and cut this outside section out, and then I went and flattened this a little bit. Another thing you want to do is, I don't know if you can see, but you want to round off all of these edges. Just really go ahead and round everything off so it's nice and smooth, because the way this is going to work is when this is on the bow, it's going to sit right above your hand like this, and the arrow is actually going to pass over this right here. This way it's a little easier on the feathers or whatever you're going to be using, preferably feathers, and there's also going to be less contact between the arrow and the bow. So now what we're going to do is we're going to flatten this and bend it. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So here's our little tab here. What we're going to be doing is heating it up, and then we're going to place it. I've got 2 2x4s here. We're going to place this in between the 2 2x4s so that 1/2 inch is sticking out. Then we're going to apply pressure. You can use a clamp or just press down. And then I'm going to push down on this until it's flat. That's going to give us our shelf. So here we go. And this should be really quick. Alright, so place the tab in till about 1/2 inch is exposed. Make sure it's nice and square, and then press down, and then you just let this cool like this. Now what's going to end up happening is there's going to be a little bit of a dip here. That's going to help give the arrow a place to pass as it's going. The feather will be able to pass in there. It will cause a little less interference than normal. This whole area also should be nice and rounded so that the arrow will easily pass over and not hang up. Okay. So there it is. Here's our tab. Now we're going to be attaching this to our bow. So I'm just using hot melt glue. I have no problems with hot melt glue. If your bow is going to get really hot, you may want to use something else, but we're also going to be, you also want to wrap over this or secure over this, so it shouldn't be a problem. Otherwise, use epoxy or something like that. So all I do is I heat up my hot melt glue. I place a little bit on the tab. So you don't want to cover too high. You want this area to be free of glue. So here it is. Now as our bow goes, what you want to do is you want to actually shoot the bow out a few times. Figure out where your arrow is going to go so that we can place the rest right below that. So now you take your rest with the glue on it, heat up the glue, once the glue is hot, take the rest, take your bow, and you just place the rest so that if an arrow were sitting on here, the arrow would go right there. Alright, there we go. So here it is. Now you notice that it's angled a little bit up. That will help keep the arrow on if you're holding it perfectly up and down. It's really good for beginners, just so that you don't have to really cant the bow hard to keep the arrow on when you're getting used to things. But here it is. Now you could do this beforehand, before you painted everything if you wanted to paint this too, but I'm going to leave this white as is. And now I'm just going to wrap the handle. Alright, here's the bowl finished up. I went ahead, I just put a simple paracord wrap on this handle. Also finished it up by signing it. So here you have my backyard boyer signature. And I went ahead and weighed it. It's pulling 35 pounds at 28 inches. And this bow is pretty much as identical as I can get it as the second bow of the year that I made. So this is technically my fourth bow of the year. So here it is. I'm just going to shoot it real quick for you. So thanks for following me along. Here's our finished bow. So here it is. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.